Looks very similar to ES, doesn't it? ES and NQ look very, very similar at this point in time. I mean, wait until we get into YM. They're not going to be talking, but that'll be next. Firstly, let's have a look at the weekly time frame. And as you can clearly see, if you zoom out a bit, I mean, you'd be laughing if you bought the bottom, right? All the way to the top. Now, what we're seeing now is a slowdown in bullish delivery, because the bullish delivery, once upon a time, this was a full green candle. When we closed, I'd say 75-80% of this candle. And this following week, which is this week, traded up to the upper quartile mean threshold of the close and the high before closing lower. But we did close within the prior candle, not taking away the fact that manipulation, when it did run to the downside, trade into this fair value gap, this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Now, right below that is a bullish order block, which is the last down close candle within the upwards range, pretty much. We've obviously got the dealing range, the immediate dealing range, which is the lows and the highs, which was like a Fibonacci on, just to have a look at. Just to be a bit more specific, we've got 486, and we've got 371. So the equilibrium for this immediate dealing range, low to highs, is 19,428.5. That is still within the buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. It's more closer to the lowest displacement of that. So with the mere fact that with ES, my bias is short to 5,490 and a quarter, it would also make sense for NQ to follow the same thesis on a weekly time frame, as they do have a tight correlation. Now, if I was to drop to the daily time frame, I'm just gonna quickly sync that to the layout. This Fibonacci on the daily time frame is what has held the price. Now, I do believe that if we were to sell off, it will be a bit more aggressive and we would run through 19,780.5, and would also look to take out these relative equal lows at 19,726. So 19,726 is the lows, but I would classify these two lows, although they're not the same as relative equal lows, as they're nearby. And 428 would be the next point of interest if you were looking to write it down throughout the week. But going into the nearer future, right, aiming for low hanging fruits, I'll be looking at 780, and I'll be looking at 726 as the first and second point of interest. But the long term shorts that I'll be looking for will be the 428 region. If you have a look at the hourly time frame, weekly sell side, tagged, run on, order block, respected, reclaimed, run into, at least going to run into those highs. Those are the next point of interest from the algorithmic standpoint of view. Bearish down close candle, 1, 2, 3 candles run on that candle there. We trade into order block right there. That's the Fibonacci right there. And back down, high low, lows taken. Those highs are imperative to be next. So you've got a run on sell side. Thursday highs met, drop down, highs, lows, highs, and this candle there took the lows out before the highs. Or should I say the highs were taken out before the lows was actually printed. Then the next candle came in, 8:30, bullish engulfing, bearish shooting star, all the way up into this region there. Then we sold off. Trading through daily sell stops and into a weekly high time frame order block. Now we could get something very similar to ES where we do this into Fibonacci 780 once again, and then obviously run through weekly sell side. But I'll be very interested to see how Sunday plays out. So you got the lows for the week, the highs for the week, closure. I haven't really done much, so this high is very important, and the mean threshold, last point of literally the last point where I'll be looking for my buyers to be scrapped would literally be the upper mean threshold of this candle from the open to the high threshold, just by eyeing it. But I will keep you guys updated on the lower time frame analysis on my Discord channel. So with that being said, bias is short. The narrative behind the bias is long, as I'd like to see manipulation to the upside before we do sell off. So with that being said, peace.